Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last episode we made a lot of progress in Techopolis 2 unlocking the power mod, and we even set up our first reactor, which you can see behind me here. So feeling pretty good about that. We have a lot of new sources of power that we can use to generate electricity. This is wonderful, especially given all of the upgrades we've been doing with Mechanism lately. Now, today, we are moving on. We are going to be making our first ingots of elite techium, and then we get to move on to all of the wonderful nether-related quest lines. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So at the end of last episode, we had uranium unlocked, and we started making uranium plates, which we then turn into uranium sheet metal. We had also made dielectric paste in that episode, so that we have the power mods of various things that we need, the cables, the connectors, all that good stuff from power. We needed that dielectric paste first. We have the atomic alloy we had already made from Mechanism a little while back, and of course our elite techium and infused crystalline that we've had for a while. So with that, we can make up our first ultimate techium ingots. So with those now unlocked, we have completed a couple of more quests here, just like so, gotten a few more tech bucks, and now it is on to the nether stuff. So this is interesting. This can be made in a tier 8 miner after crafting 38 of the block. To craft the block, this is where it gets weird. Now we're starting to have to use our ultimate techium to make blocks of these actual items instead of breaking it down from our colored stone. So first things first, we need to go get ourselves 8 lava containers, 8 jars of lava. Thankfully, we've got a lot of lava bottles here from our automation. So let's do that. We wrap those around a single piece of elite techium, like so, and that's going to make us a bunch of glowstone. Let's go ahead and drop off the rest of that, and we are going to put our elite techium into our storage system here with the other techium. That's going to be good for it. And now we can set up a tier 8 miner real quick. Again, this is going to be exactly like we have done in every other episode. This uses our emerald frames, of which I think we're just about out, so we're going to have to make a bunch more of those real quick. So we'll do that, and I'm going to set this up, and we will meet back here in a second. Okay, so there is our miner setup. Again, just like every other episode, if you have not already seen me do this a dozen times, feel free to rewind and watch those previous episodes where I keep having to set these up over and over again. We have about, I don't know, 40 of these, so I feel like most folks know how this works now. Just a frame around our ingredient. So that's going to give us up a bunch of glowstone. That's going into our network, but we don't actually have a use for it just quite yet. I'm sure we will in the near future. Now, for our soul stand and our netherrack, we are going to have to do something different here. We're going to need compressed cobblestone for our netherrack, and we're going to need compressed sand for our soul sand. So between episodes, I have been setting up a bunch of our drawers here to mine sand and to mine our compressed cobblestone. You can see here this is a 5x compressed cobblestone already. I've just been upgrading this as we've been going. Sand, however, is a little bit trickier because we can't mine compressed sand in this mod pack. I don't know why they left that specific piece out, but for whatever reason, I couldn't find a way to do that. So we are able to come over here to our system, and we can use this compressed cobblestone with our ultimate techium and turn that into our compressed netherrack. That should complete that quest. Then all we need is 8 pieces of compressed sand. I'd already made up a whole bunch extra compressed sand here, and we can use that to make up our compressed soul sand, just like so. Great. And that completes these quests here. Well, it doesn't look like there's an automated recipe for mining for soul sand, but it does look like there is one for netherrack. So I'm going to go ahead and make up a bunch more pieces of this netherrack using the same method that we did before. We're just going to do this, and I think we need altogether 4, if my math is right here, to get to our 36 pieces. That uses up a lot of our ultimate techium, and I don't feel great about that. But there we go. Now this we can mine, of course, in a tier 9 support frame. That is made with netherite ingots, and we don't have netherite yet. So I guess we continue with our little quest here for a second, and that means making up our bricks. Now, to turn this into our netherite bricks, those nether bricks, we need to make ourselves some sort of a smelter that's electric. So Mechanism has a furnace, what do they call it? Smelter? Yeah, the energized smelter, but we haven't made one of these yet. Now, I also need to make myself one more steel casing. That's easy enough. Expensive, but easy. And with that, we should be able to, oops, I once again have not cleared out my glass storage, so that's just a bottleneck for us. I can go ahead and make our energized smelter this way. So let's grab that glass back up, and we'll put this onto our line of machines with all of the other machines. We wired this up real quick, and now we can go ahead and put a single piece of netherrack in here, turn that into a nether brick, and see what happens. So just a second more on this, and there we go. That completes that quest. Now, how do we get netherite scrap? Apparently we can combine soul sand with nether bricks to make this. That doesn't seem very efficient. The arc furnace, we can use ancient debris. We don't have that yet. And the induction smelter as well. Now, if we had basalt and more netherite scrap, we could auto mine this. Now, what do we use to make basalt? Oh, of course, we need compressed stone and we need ultimate techium. Okay, that's interesting. Is that the only way for us to get basalt? Yes, it looks like it is. Okay, well, no problem there. Let's just focus on the task at hand. Let's make up 5 more netherite bricks, and we will then make our netherite scrap real quick. So with our nether bricks in hand, we can wrap that around our soul sand to give us our netherite scrap. That completes that quest, and we get a bunch more pieces of netherite scrap for our trouble. Now, the ancient debris we make with basalt. So we can combine that in a combiner, and first we need to get enough basalt to get there. That means we need 3x compressed stone, which is not able to be made in a miner. So we're just hanging out for a second and waiting for the last of our stone to come in so that we can finish making our compressed stone. So we'll be back in just a second. Alright, that took a really long time to get more compressed stone. I actually had to bust back out our jumbo furnace just to be able to get enough cobblestone smelted into regular stone, even though we do have a stone miner over there, but whatever. We finally got there, and so now we can use our triple compressed stone to make up a stack of basalt. Wonderful. So that we should then be able to use to make up our ancient debris. So let's grab our basalt, we'll grab our netherite scrap, and we'll wrap that. Let's just do one piece to start, because I'm not sure what's going to happen here. If I can get another way of getting these. Netherite dust only comes from netherite scrap. Netherite scrap only comes from, yeah, this same place. We need that ancient debris. So it looks like we're gonna have to make ourselves up 36 pieces of ancient debris. That means that there's a lot of work for us to do. So again, I'm gonna do some of this off camera while I make up all of this netherite scrap, because that's gonna just require a whole lot of nether bricks and soul sand that we do not have yet. Well, friends, I am a little baffled here by this quest line, I have to admit. There's no real way for me to automate the netherrack until I get enough netherite ingots to be able to automate it, but I can't make enough netherite ingots because I can't make enough netherite debris, which is also very expensive because I can't make enough netherite scraps. I think that there's a bug here. I don't think that netherite is supposed to be a tier 9 miner. I suspect this is supposed to be tier 7, not tier 9. So I might have to cheat a little bit here, friends, because there's just really no way for me to do this in a timely fashion. Similarly, I don't think that soul sand is supposed to not have a way of being able to get it except for crafting it from elite techium, because this is too darn expensive to be able to be realistic. So I might see if I can't tweak this in the pack real quick, because otherwise, I'm sorry friends, I don't have 15 hours to sit around and craft these by hand. So let me see what I can do real quick. Alright, so I just went and looked up Cyberfuel Studios when they played through this pack, and they had a recipe for soul sand that we do not have. Theirs was just made with lava and sand. We don't have that recipe for whatever reason, so I am frustrated. that means that I did go ahead and tweak the recipes a little bit. What I've done here is I've made myself up enough compressed soul sand with our techium that we can make up 36 pieces of it. And now I've made it that these can be mined in our tier 8 support frames. So I've gone ahead and set up a bunch more of our frames here, or made a bunch more of our frames. We are going to set these up just like normal. And again, yes, I am aware this is cheating, but of the cheating I could be doing, I think doing it in the spirit of the pack still is not as bad as just totally giving myself free items here, because now I feel not as bad about it. I wish this recipe were easier, and again, this shouldn't be so grindy. I cannot stand a grindy mod pack. So we're just going to drop our redstone blocks on top of here, and then we are going to set these up with our new ingredients and get those fed into our system. Okay, and there we go. Now we've got miners set up for both of these other ingredients. All right, we've let the netherrack run for a while and the soul sand run for a while, and now we have all of the ingredients. I made a bunch more nether bricks, and with those, we should now be able to make the last of our netherite scrap and get the last of this ancient debris into place. So, and one more. Oh, nope, 2 more. There we go. 36 of our ancient debris. Perfect. Now we can take this back and add this into the array of miners along with all of the other ingredients. There we go. We put our miner on top. We put our drawer on top of that. We put our import cable on top of that. And now we just wire it into our network just like before. There we go. Wait for those to come in. And perfect. Now we have our ancient debris slowly but surely filling up this box. And actually it'll speed up if I remember to put the last block of redstone on it, just like that. We can grab up our ancient debris here, take a look at our quest lines, and where are we at? We are about ready to make our netherite. So to get to that, we are gonna need our netherite dust, or we can take it and put the netherite scrap directly in here with gold to make a netherite ingot. Now the netherite dust, as I remember, is just metallurgically infused with gold dust. We can do enriched gold, and that'll save us a little bit of gold here. But, you know, we also have a whole lot of gold, so that doesn't really worry me so much. The ancient debris, of course, we can do a variety of things with. The crusher is actually the most efficient. I think we already have a crusher made, because that gives us, for every one, we get 3 out of it, versus the enrichment chamber, where we're only going to get 2. So maybe we dump this into the crusher real quick and make as much of this as we can, and then turn that into our netherite. There we go, netherite scrap. Then we use that in our enrichment chamber. Where did we put our enrichment chamber? There we go, enriching factory. And yeah, we just keep doing this process until these all become the netherite dust. All right, so we take our gold and we put it in here into our crushing factory. That's going to turn it into gold dust. That gold dust we can then enrich. Perfect. And we can just put it in here in our enriching factory. We're not using the auto sort. And now we have enriched gold. That enriched gold, I think we don't have another infusing factory that isn't already full of other stuff. So that's not a lot of redstone for us to lose. We have infinite redstone. So let's go ahead and put the enriched gold in there. That's 80. And put our netherite scrap in with it. And with any luck, this should turn into at least 1 ingot. Oh, but that might not be enough. Yeah, see, it's only enough for 2. That's not a very efficient recipe for us here. And we need to smelt that. And unfortunately, it's a good thing we rebuilt our jumbo smelter, because that is literally the only thing that we can cook this into for whatever reason. That just doesn't seem great, but that's fine. We have our jumbo smelter for just exactly this reason, our jumbo furnace, excuse me. So we're gonna let that cook up. Okay, so now that we've got our nether dust infused from that gold, we use this little recipe here, that worked great, and momentarily we should be getting a whole bunch of netherite out of our smelter. There we go, almost a full stack now. So we can knock that off, and now we just need to make a block of netherite. Thankfully, we planned ahead here and knew we were going to need a lot more than that, so let's go ahead and grab that. And that's that quest. And now the only thing left to do is to make a tier 9 frame with one piece of it. So let's convert that back. And then we grab that and we surround that with our sticks. Just like that. And that's going to give us a tier 9 frame. And that completes that section of quest. All done. And that also brings to a close this episode of Enterprise Architecture. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.